Like, share, subscribe.
Sindbad the Sailor. An illustration of one of Sindbad's many monstrous encounters, in this case, a group of giant fish. A young Sindbad at the time of his first voyage. This picture shows the ship on which Sindbad has been traveling making its narrow escape when the giant fish awakens and dives, leaving Sindbad struggling unnoticed in the water among assorted flotsam, including the washtub, which he will use to stay afloat. The fish is described in some versions of the story as a whale, and some accounts of island monsters actually talk about giant turtles. But this depiction is based partly on medieval depictions of sea monsters, and partly on large fish such as the barracuda. The ship in the picture is based on attempted modern reconstructions of Arab trading dhows from the Abbasid period. A map of the Indian Ocean and its environs, as mythologized to become the scene of Sindbad's adventures, with identifiable locations from the stories marked. A modern Arab dhow. The basic design of these sailing vessels may not have changed much since Abbasid times. Sindbad and the Giant Serpents. During his journey through the Diamond Mountains, Sindbad has to hide in terror from the local wildlife. A roc returns to its nest as night falls, watched cautiously by Sindbad. On his second voyage, Sindbad escapes after being marooned on a remote island by tying himself to the leg of a roc, a gigantic bird, using his turban cloth to improvise a rope for the purpose. Although the bird eventually lands in an uninhabited and monster-infested mountain valley, it is shown here flying over a region with a few buildings, possibly old ruins. One of the giant serpents, which infest the region, can also be seen down on the mountain slopes. Sindbad ties himself to the roc's leg and is carried through the sky. Sindbad's tale of the man-eating giant is obviously derived from the Greek legend of Odysseus and the one-eyed Cyclops. Hence, some illustrations, such as this one, show the giant with one eye, although the story doesn't support this. The giant met by Sindbad and his companions during his third voyage is an enthusiastic man-eater, although the story suggests that it prefers its food cooked. On his third voyage, a shipwrecked Sindbad and his companions are exploring a huge palace when they are captured by a hideous giant, a man-eating monster which roasts its victims on great iron spits. After several of them have been killed and eaten, the travelers escape after blinding the giant with a pair of its own spits, which they first make red hot in the cooking fire. Another depiction of the man-eating giant. The Greek legend of Odysseus and the Cyclops, as depicted here, is clearly the inspiration for events in the tale of Sindbad's third voyage. Sindbad's escape from the island of the man-eating giants. Sindbad meets people from many exotic cultures on his travels. Here, he is shown discussing geography with Indian scholars. During his fourth voyage, Sindbad is lowered into the caves of the dead. Sindbad among the dead. During his fourth voyage, Sindbad finds himself trapped alive in a great communal tomb. Sindbad has just escaped after being buried alive in a cave tomb, finding a tunnel out to an otherwise inaccessible beach. He has sighted a passing ship and attracted the crew's attention, and the crew have sent a boat to pick him up. Fortunately, perhaps, they do not recognize that the clothes he is wearing, and the bundles he is carrying, are actually burial shrouds, despite the fact that they are the white color typical of funerary garb from the region. Sindbad learns a healthy respect for rocks when he first encounters one, but unfortunately, his companions during a second encounter are less wise. Here they breaks a roc's egg and killing its chick. Sindbad's fifth voyage involves a second encounter with giant rock birds. On this occasion, they destroy the ship which Sindbad bought for his own by bombarding it with huge boulders. Another depiction of the rock sinking Sindbad's ship during his fifth voyage. Sindbad and the Old Man of the Sea. The Old Man of the Sea has tricked Sindbad into carrying him on his shoulders, then locked his muscular legs around Sindbad's neck, and is using Sindbad as a slave. Here, Sindbad has hit on a way to escape, manufacturing rough wine in goods, which he has found around the forest. When the old man, who has never encountered wine before, drinks himself into a stupor, he will release his grip. Sindbad's improvised bottle, as seen in this picture, may be a green calabash, or bottle gourd, which is used as a container in many places around the Indian Ocean. Shipwreck is a hazard frequently faced by Sindbad and those with whom he travels. Sindbad improvises a raft for travel on an underground river during his 6th voyage. Sindbad has been shipwrecked yet again on a seemingly deserted island, and everyone who was with him has died of starvation or disease. However, he has found a stream which flows into a crevice in the rocky mountainside. Deciding to take his chances by building a rough wooden raft from local aloes wooden planks and rope salvaged from wrecked ships, Sindbad rides this into the caves. The winged men in their non-human form. Sindbad has discovered that, for one day each year, the men of the city where he is living change shape and appearance, grow wings, and spend the day flying high in the sky. At his own request, he is being carried up towards heaven by one of these winged men. Sindbad's adventures as an ivory hunter, in the alternative account of his 7th voyage. The Elephant's Graveyard. The alternative version of Sindbad's 7th voyage. Medieval Baghdad. A modern Arab sailor aboard a dhow. The vessels on which Sindbad travelled would have been similar, but without the metal fixtures, or the modern cargo. Ibn Battuta, the medieval traveller whose journeys perhaps resembled Sindbad's as closely as could anything in reality. Unloading cargo in Oman. To this day, trade on the Indian Ocean sometimes seems little changed from the age of Sindbad. The 7th voyage of Sindbad, 1958, is loosely inspired by several parts of the original stories. As the man-eating two-eyed giant in one of them is evidently derived from the Greek legend of Odysseus, and the one-eyed Cyclops, the film features a stop-motion animated Cyclops. In the modern era, Sindbad has often been depicted as a swashbuckling figure in Hollywood movies. In 1947, he was played by one of the archetypal swashbuckling actors. Patrick Wayne as a sword-fighting Sindbad in Sindbad and the Eye of the Tiger, 1977. One of Sindbad's most recent screen appearances is in animated form in Sindbad, Legend of the Seven Seas, 2003, with the voice of Brad Pitt and locations and opponents from Greek mythology.
Like, share, subscribe.